Hey guys, guess what? This video is from my bed. It's the first video ever in bed with me in my pajamas. Yeah. And I have some serious topics to discuss, so I thought that I would kind of even it out by showing you a few of my little bedtime friends. So this is Hippie. Hippie the Hippononymous. He's like a full body pillow. He's super fluffy and so soft. My friend gave him to me for a surgery present. His name's Hippie. And then I wanted to show you Effie. Effie the Effluent. Effie's kind of lost some of his stuffing. Has kind of been depleted after some time. But Effie and I have traveled the world. We've been all over Europe. He came to Korea with me. Any domestic flight, I fly with him and cuddle up with him in the airplane, and I go straight to sleep. So this is Effie. In fact, I've had people comment that when we sleep together, I always make sure, and I'll be like dead asleep. I don't remember doing this, but I'll like lift up his trunk and then put the covers so that he can breathe. So he can breathe when we're sleeping. So here's Effie. But yeah, so, oh, and then just a little stroke of genius that I haven't yet mentioned. Hold on. This right here. The camelback. The camelback. I have it connected, I don't know if you can see, yeah. I have it connected to the post of my headboard, and drinking is really taxing for the first bit after surgery, and this way I don't even have to worry about sitting up to drink. I can be laying down and drinking. It's perfect. Except for sometimes it leaks a little bit on the ground. Anyway, yeah, a little bit of brilliance and some cute little bedtime friends. But seriously, how can you just not love this face? Such a cute face. Okay, well, all kind of joking aside, wow, that's a long joking. Okay, here's the thing. I want to make a video about the emotional recovery of surgery, but I have to do some backstory first. And I've been putting it off because it's still a little raw, some of these situations. But anyway, I'm just going to get started with one of the scenarios that I encountered that affect my emotional recovery here. So for the last year, I've been going to a support meeting for transgender folk who are adults. And I don't know what the age cutoff is, but it's not designed to be anything inclusive for youth. So I went, and I was kind of a little disappointed. And then I became aware of what the issue was, the underlying issue. A lot of people that were going didn't have any access to any kind of health care or mental health care. Were definitely underemployed or unemployed for a substantial time frame. Just, it was mainly like older trans women who didn't have the ability to transition yet. But yeah, so it was just a really intense support meeting, and I was hoping to go to meet like professionals, young professionals transitioning in their mid-career and what to do with that. It didn't have to be young professionals, established professionals too, that'd be great, but I ultimately saw that I would have to be, if I wanted to attend this group, it would have to be with the expectation of offering support and not necessarily receiving it. And I should have kept that in mind. But that was reason enough to go, right? To show you work your ass off. I work for a good company. It's trans inclusive. You know, like, I do have a huge amount of privilege, and we all have huge amounts of different kinds of privilege. It's like I just have capitalized on all of mine. But nonetheless, you know, life can be good. As a trans person, it can be a really good life. So I've been going to the meeting, and when I heard that my surgery was canceled, that insurance would no longer pay for it, or so I had to come up with $6,000 or do a procedure that I didn't want. I lost it. I was not healthy. It was hugely devastating. Which was good, because I didn't know what it was that I was going to lose out on until I lost it, right? But it was really, really intense. So, I went to this meeting. And I had shared my disappointment. And I should say, every time I've left this meeting, I've always felt more I've always felt more distressed than I did when I went to the meeting, which has always been like something like, should I be doing this? Because it just doesn't feel right. And I didn't quite know what it was. But in this last meeting that I went, where I had disclosed about my surgery being canceled, one thing I had noticed was there was a woman who was on her phone texting, right? And I was just like, not only is that just bad manners, but from a privacy issue, I don't know if she's recording. And one of the facilitators were sitting right next to her. Like, I just think that this group is facilitated really poorly. That's kind of just an issue of class management. I was an English teacher. I know what class management is. Put the phones away. It's just that simple, you know? And she would laugh at inappropriate times, and I think her, like, emotional development maybe had staggered some, you know, in her life, and I just had to remember, you know, I need to treat her like I would a 14-year-old girl, which is frustrating, but that was super disrespectful, and the facilitators didn't say anything. And then there was I've often been referred to with the wrong pronoun. I've been she'd, and no one has corrected themselves, like the person who misspoke, or the facilitator didn't correct. And when you introduce yourself, you say your preferred pronoun. Like, in a trans environment, a trans support meeting, and I have to assert my pronoun, like, I just super not supportive. And then there was a situation the last time I went where I felt like I was being personally attacked. I was saying that I was so upset about my surgery being canceled, and my cousin said, well, insurance really shouldn't pay for it because they don't pay for boob jobs. And I had said that was a really hurtful comment. And then someone else in the group who was trying to play alpha dog, because these facilitators just don't step up. They have this, like, compulsive need for everyone to like them, I think. I don't know what their issue is, but, like, narcissistic at least. But yeah, they didn't step up. And so this woman steps up, and she's like, kind of like, you need to recheck yourself. And I said, what do you mean? I'm talking about something that's hurtful and someone hurt me. Like, what do you mean I have to watch what I'm saying? And she said, what you just said was offensive. And I said, gosh, I apologize if it came across that I was saying I agree with my cousin. I don't agree with my cousin, but that's not even the issue here. So I'm sorry if I offended you. Right? It's over. I'm sorry. Like, it was a genuine apology. And all she did was like, fine. No, that's fine. And she sits down and just glares at me, and I can't talk for the rest of the meeting. And the facilitators didn't step up. They didn't be like, hey, you know, Alex, it sounds like you've had a rough week. That sounds pretty devastating. Thanks for your apology. I'm sure you didn't mean to hurt anyone. Like, how can we support you? You know, like, nothing. Nothing was done. I was just, like, personally attacked. And these facilitators would just sit by. And so, what really, like, takes my breath away, though, is at the point where I had disclosed that I wasn't safe, that, like, I was definitely thinking about suicide, and It was like it hit me so hard, you guys, because I really haven't been depressed in like years. And this wasn't depression, this was like immediacy. So I had disclosed in this group that I didn't know what the hell I was going to do. And I didn't disclose it on YouTube for a very specific reason. I used to have a friend, he would call me and he would talk about feeling suicidal, and I was always so inept with being able to help him. It traumatized me. So I decided then and there that if I have a suicidal issue, I will go to professionals who are equipped to help me, so that it's good for me and it's good for them. Like, if I'd come to YouTube expressing this, you guys, I mean, you don't even, how do you know that I'm getting adequate help? It's not fair, right? I mean, I can talk about it now because I'm in a better space, but it's still obviously very tender. But, so I say this very personal thing, very vulnerable thing. I don't know if I can't not hurt myself, you know? And the facilitators got out of when the group ended, nothing was said to me at that point in the group. Someone else started talking about their issue, and I don't remember if it was a pertinent issue or not. I was just kind of raw and exposed, and then the facilitators literally walked by me and drove away. They didn't stop to see if I was going to be okay. They didn't care if I lived or died. And I didn't say that I was going to go kill myself. From legal liability, they're safe. Because legal liability is if you have the intent to hurt someone or hurt yourself. I didn't say that. I said that I had been feeling suicidal. So they didn't necessarily break legal liability, but that doesn't mean ethical liability isn't just as much of a part of that story. And it really hurt my feeling. I mean, I just felt like crap. Like, it didn't even matter. That it didn't even matter if I lived or died. And then I thought, like, this isn't the response. My response should be outrage that these are the people that I get. Like, I can afford to go to a real therapist, But a lot of these people are just so impoverished. They will not have exposure to adequate mental health care. We had a suicide. You guys, we had a suicide from a group member in this group 6 months ago. She shot herself. She killed herself. She wasn't even out to her family. She just couldn't live in the closet anymore. Like, it was terrible. And I didn't really know the lady. She was there before I started really getting involved. But, I mean, we had this happen. Why is this not a bigger red flag? I don't get it. I had found out through another person on Facebook that she had witnessed something very similar, that someone had divulged that they were suicidal and nothing had been done about it. And I should say, at the time that I was saying that I was feeling suicidal in the past, these past few days is what I had said, there was another trans woman there that had mentioned that she too felt suicidal and that she doesn't know how she's going to go home and look at these health care bills. And I was just so stuck in myself. I didn't bother to see if she had a safe space, but I don't think those other therapists did either. And like, it was intense. It was really traumatic, like the experience itself. So that has to be told as part of my story regarding emotional recovery of surgery, because this was all a precursor, maybe, 10 days before. Yeah, about 10 days before my surgery, this event happened. Okay.